Our marriage has been a wonderful and adventurous 9 years. As I stand here today, I am proud and honored to be renewing our vows and recommitting myself to you.
Tempers flare.
I've said that was a chair, and I meant it.
You have been an excellent mother to our 8 children, an excellent wife and friend. I am the happiest father and husband knowing that you are by my side always.
I can't stand being in front because she's on my heels like crazy.
But you're...
John, walk faster. John, walk faster.
I promise to respect you as my partner, teammate, and best friend as we raise our 8 children together with the strength that God gives us.
Relationships are tested.
I have asked for help, and I haven't gotten it.
She has a narcissistic personality disorder.
This show, Jon and Kate Plus 8, is not reality, and it has not been for a very long time. It has turned into a huge money-making machine, and that is everyone's priority.
Welcome to part 2 of Jon and Kate Plus 8, their unexpected rise to fame and the downfall we all saw coming. When Jon and Kate Gosselin appeared on our TV screens, they became a phenomenon. Though Kate would say that the opportunity to have a reality show was heaven sent, it soon spiraled and became media fodder, with the couple on more tabloid magazine covers than any other celebrity in 2009. From cheating accusations to claims to a nasty custody and divorce battle, Jon and Kate Gosselin were the train wreck you couldn't help but watch. In this video, we are going to take a deep look into their fallout and the climate of the media during that era. This is the conclusion of the Jon and Kate Gosselin sensation and the media mayhem, madness, and mania. But before we get into today's episode, let's first thank our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. I spent a lot of time online researching and collecting information from various sites. With NordVPN, I never question or doubt that my privacy is protected when surfing the internet. NordVPN is one of the leading consumer cybersecurity brands who put your online safety first. By using my code, The Commentator, you can get 4 months for free on a 2-year plan. Use my link in the description box below. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Don't compromise your online safety. Protect yourself today. Thank you, Nord, for sponsoring this video. Let's get started.
This is a train wreck for all to see, and we are hoping and praying that whoever is in authority to investigate, to pass laws protecting children in reality TV shows will do their part.
When Jon and Kate Plus 8 premiered, it became an overnight success, as America watched the seemingly normal couple navigate their brood and mundane life. Millions tuned in to watch a show they could relate to, a show which documented the ups and downs of parenthood and marriage. In the essay, The Reality of Motherhood, The Personal Quest and Feminine Test of Kate Gosselin, Mary Frances Casper writes, "The recent surge in reality television programming has provided a window into the worlds of women struggling with parenthood and personhood. These women serve as both role models and warnings, allowing viewers a fly-on-the-wall perspective of family functions and dysfunctions. The reality TV process effectively splits the lives of participants. They are expected to continue to live as normal people. The families we see in reality programming are not normal. It is the unique nature of their makeup or activities that evokes curiosity and drives viewership. In reality, the less normal the family, the greater the potential for high ratings." Jon and Kate Gosselin, a young couple from Pennsylvania, were indeed unique. The couple had 2 sets of multiples, twin girls Maddie and Kara, who were born in 2000, and sextuplets who were born in 2004. Their family was anything but normal. Casper writes, "Despite our yearning for a kinder, simpler time, we understand that media life is not real life, but instead exposes the audience to idealized images, which leads consumers to compare their own lives with those represented in media. Repeated exposure to idealized images raises media consumers' expectations and influences their perceptions of how their lives ought to be. It is no wonder that we turn to the real people of reality programs for affirmation of our lives and lifestyle choices. The familiarity of family life and traditional American ideologies invite a link with the viewer's own possible experiences for cultural identification and reinforcement. In essence, reality programming validates viewers' own lives by reinforcing understanding of how people should live." Kate Gosselin was dubbed America's supermom. She became the standard of what a mother should be, from her couponing to her organizational skills, to her independence and how she ran her house, to even having her own Halloween costume. Kate was idolized by women from all over the world. A lot of women looked up to Kate.
Kate Gosselin-Can, the mother from the hit TLC show Jon and Kate Plus, is in West Michigan to sign copies of her book, Multiple Blessings. More than 1,500 people stood in line for hours to get her autograph last night in Granville.
Has there been, I guess, a message or something that people have been saying to you most while being here in Grand Rapids? Like saying, this book has been wonderful, your show's been wonderful, it's changed my life?
It's not just Grand Rapids, it's the message everywhere. Everyone feels like our book is inspirational. It's, in being here in Grand Rapids, reading the book this week for CD, I am reading through the book again, and it is an amazing story, and I still can't believe it's our story.
Are you surprised at the fandom that the show has had ever since it started?
I think all these people were just being silly. It's ridiculous.
In their show, the roles of Jon and Kate were established early on for the audience to see, as there was a clear distinction between the two personalities. Casper writes, "The reality and reality television creates the expectation that the person we see on television is the same person off camera, and indeed in every aspect of their lives. While children are expected to grow and change, reality television mothers are expected to fit a narrowly defined television trope, the mom. Reality television perpetuates the good wife, a woman who strictly adheres to the feminine sphere of family and home by providing both the icon and the contrasting sphere of women violating feminine ideals. Women juggle career and children, home and husband, while trying to find a comfortable balance.
On a daily basis, there are certain things that I clean every single day. I mop the wood floor 3 times a day. I wipe the table 3 times a day. I wipe the high chairs and the chairs 3 times a day. I clean the sink, the countertops, the stove every day. He bought expensive shower heads and didn't even bother to take a coupon to the store that I never ever shop and buy items unless I have a coupon for each item.
You didn't use a coupon?
No. I didn't know. You were gone.
I have stacks of coupons. I don't ever... Get me the receipt right now.
I gave you all the receipts.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot him. John, we don't buy things unless we have a coupon. Period. End of story.
Listen, it's quick. So he puts it in front of, can you just go? I'll do cereal when I get to it, but I'm burning things because you keep invading my space. Let me have my space. I don't have much of it anymore. Man.
Kate, a self-described perfectionist, was shown as a critical, demanding taskmaker who ruled her home with a will of iron. Kate is both the powerhouse behind the family and the focus of most episodes. True to the good wife persona, she keeps the house, organizes, shops, clips coupons, transports kids to school, plans educational trips, and tries to meet the needs of her growing children.
Tell me where the receipt is.
I don't know.
You're not buying anything anymore. You irritate me.
Yes, I am.
Now I have to go scrounging for receipts.
He should have just taken a $20 bill and flushed it down the toilet then. That's the way I look at it.
What you doing, Joe?
Getting gum off of my jaw.
No way. No way! You don't roll. Oh, Lord have mercy. Who would give you gum? John, if you would kindly stop separating onions and leave alone, they wouldn't have to. I have to make lunch. I have to get in here.
I did not feel comfortable with him in my kitchen. And then, of course, the lovely crew had to follow him in there, and that's just not good for me.
Go get the stools first. Line the stools up. Line the stools up here. Not those stools. Standing stools. Think in your head. They're throughout the house. What is the rule about receipts? When do you give them to me?
Always.
Okay, you're going to go back today after you drop the kids off. You paid $50 and no receipts.
Casper continues. Jon, on the other hand, appeared inept, indecisive, unfocused, and sometimes surly. Jon appeared to be child number 9, unable to make a decision or take a decisive stance without Kate's input, and always making messes. He seemed to like to play as much as the kids did.
Jon, you need to take a break and help me clean. I just want to roll this off of here.
Well, I'm doing this. Just can you wait 5 seconds?
She just like snaps.
I don't ever like the mess.
Then get him.
Put it down, and you can continue in a minute. I'll just roll it towards you, and you can have your spot. Just sit it down. Really, it really is necessary here. Okay, no. Okay, I have open pots of soup. Would you like to eat dust for dinner? Just go, please. Thank you for Thank you. Goodbye now. Thank you very much. That was wonderful of you. How kind. Just leave the kitchen and don't come back in, please.
Where is my husband? He's just absent, as usual.
He disappears, leaves me. I always beg him to protect me. He doesn't. He's over there chatting, letting me freak out, and not even, again, a husband who loves his wife would have stepped forward despite how embarrassing it appeared. If you wanted me to stop, all you have to do is say, how can I help you? But part of this is you choose to, oh, she's embarrassing, goodbye. I'm just going to stand over here and chat and act like I don't know any of them. That's not a help. I just need help. When I'm freaking out, it's because I'm frustrated, can't move fast enough, and nobody helps me. So if you can just say, how can I help you? Instead of mocking me, laughing at how I act, whatever, it could change it.
Okay, no one helps you.
Did I just say that? That no one helps me?
Yes, you did. And no one helps me, you said. I was talking.
Yep. Standing aside, watching it all unfold and
I was
crumble.
watching my kids enjoy the princesses. I didn't want to go rehash it again. Sorry for opening my mouth. Maybe I won't suggest any more embarrassing moments because I'm getting grilled in the seat.
Right.
Every time we come up with an embarrassing moment. So from now on, I'm not going to say anything. Hopefully this conversation's over.
It's not, and that's not communication. Good try, though.
I'm the outdoors play person.
You're supposed to be an example, not a child.
Well, we were playing.
Uh-huh.
The show captured many nice moments with the family, but it also captured, more often than not, fights between the couple, bickering, snide comments, and what appeared to be two people who had a lot on their plate and who couldn't stand each other. Though the children were what drew people in, Jon and Kate's marriage became the focal point.
You need to stop playing toys and come help. Playing with toys instead of doing his job.
I've never done that since, and I don't care what he says. We've never been in a store where I yelled across the store, hello.
Yes, we have.
When?
Crayola Factory.
John! Potty! You have to sit with them.
That was not a store.
No, but you yelled across the whole floor.
Yes, because there was 2,000 people between me and you, and I literally yelled to merely have you hear me. I had kids I had to take to the bathroom, kids I had to give to you, and I had to yell. You were way over there.
There's 3
I couldn't get to you.
There's one at the corn maze, there's one at the toy store, and then there's one at Crayola.
I don't know what you're talking about.
At the corn maze and our show open, you yell, hello.
Honey, stand up and help them in. They're having trouble. Hello!
Okay, in the recent days, have I done that?
No, in the recent days, no.
Okay, there you go.
We were away for 3 days.
And there's a nicer way, if your spouse is being grouchy, there's a nicer way to communicate that. If you're being mature and not immature, like you're sitting there giggling right now, there's a nicer way to say things. You could have said in a very mature, husbandly way, Kate, what are you so bothered about? Can I help you with something? I've asked you our whole marriage. When I'm stressed, say, is there something I can help you with? When I'm stressed, there's 100 things you can help me with. But if you don't ask, I just bark. So he hasn't learned that yet. Typical man. It's all right. We have to love them despite their faults.
Could we have a Kate and John switch day where I get to stand and cross my arms?
What do you want me to do? I did all this stuff.
I've been thinking about that lately.
Put their goods on, filled all the juice cups.
I mean, we should have a role reversal day.
Got them dressed, got the boys dressed, got the girls dressed.
Well, it's our usual John not helping discussion. It's not that he doesn't help. I think I said that wrong. He helps a lot. You see that. I just wish he would say, what can I help you with, Kate? That would reduce my stress by 95%.
I didn't say you didn't do anything.
Fine, I'll do mine. You want to play with them, do all your stuff? Go ahead.
And I know he probably hates that I'm airing his fault, but he knows it as his issue. Right, honey?
Yeah, I know I have many faults.
Well, I'm not sitting here to pick on your faults. I'm just saying, I just wish you would say, Kate, I know you're trying to get out the door. Is there something I could help you with?
Okay.
And that's all.
Anything else you want to say?
Casper writes, originally promoted as a traditional family with unique challenges brought on by the birth of sextuplets, the first seasons focused on family milestones and traditions, Kate's standards of cleanliness, family road trips, household organizing, thrifty shopping tips, potty training, and birthday parties. But it was Jon and Kate's relationship that drove the story.
You guys fight a lot.
We argue. We don't fight.
We love each other.
Whatever you want to call it. There's bickering, there's
Arguing, disagreeing.
So, is that bad? No. I was going to put them in there. It's a more compact box, and it'll fit
What are you
up on the
talking about?
ceiling. It'll fit on the ceiling. I want it up on the
Yeah,
ceiling.
and so will this. And it's bigger.
No, that won't fit.
Yes, it will. All the pine cones aren't going to fit in there. I hate to tell you.
Why do you speak to each other the way that you do?
Kate, why don't you put him in the back seat?
Listen, I have eyes everywhere. I can watch.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think we're very honest with each other.
Please don't squish the cereal in your
I'm not
anger.
squishing anything.
You'll still be baby.
This is for the kids. It's a day that we can ruin or we can make good.
Yep. Here.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like if you say something, I know I should have done it and I didn't do it
Yeah, well,
because I was stubborn or.
Yeah.
It's the same with you.
You're not that honest, though. It takes me a while to get that out of you. Like, the real reason, why didn't you do that?
No, that's the way I am.
But anyway, we try to be honest with each other, and I am too honest.
Yeah.
And we say what we're thinking and feeling, and that way there's no hard feelings. Okay, can you comb your hair? And that's the little girl's brush, so make sure it gets back in the key basket.
It already. You see what it already.
Okay.
Just do it.
That's like talking to you. Go in the bathroom and comb your hair and put a clip in. You can sit that down. You don't need to hide it. Thank you.
This other stuff can go out.
Although we do these things in front of our kids.
Which we are trying to stop.
White sandals.
No, I'm saying flip-flops. Just let them wear what they want to wear so I don't have to hear it all day.
What? So we lose their shoes and then they have nothing to wear?
Lose their shoes.
I have enough to keep track of. This is what I'm saying. Stand with me or stand against me and
I'll talk in here. Because I disagree.
Our kids are always around.
By the end of season 3, Jon and Kate go from being treated as an average, normal young couple with 8 children to a celebrity family. They are followed by paparazzi on the covers of tabloids and were the topic of discussion on several talk shows and blogs.
Hello, biggest fan. Kate's written a few books. They make appearances. They sell photos for $20 a pop at these book signings and church appearances. They also give speeches. The Goslings have made their family name into a business.
I have paparazzi standing outside my house. 24/7.
With a huge increase in fame and money and their privacy gone, it was only a matter of time before things started going sour.
It was impossible to watch the news or media outlets without hearing about Jon and Kate Gosselin. Their relationship became a hot topic, and everyone had an opinion. Bill Hayes from Figure 8, the company that produced Jon and Kate, would tell Vanity Fair magazine that, quote, Kate was the boss. You could see the friction in their relationship from the start. We had a show that was rising in interest based on the unfiltered, sometimes cantankerous relationship of this couple with these 8 beautiful children. Kate yelled at Jon, she ordered him around, made fun of him, and this was TV gold.
I'm a little worried about your workout situation if you're shoving all baked goods in your mouth. You ate constantly for 5 or 6 years.
I'm working on it now. You can insult me all you want. You called me fat for the last 3 seasons.
We don't live our lives in seasons. At least I don't. For the last 3 seasons, as if we live our life by seasons. He is so. I don't know what the word is, but that is just tacky. For the last 3 seasons. Your life is not in terms of seasons. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That was the issue. Did you miss it?
Yeah. My point being is,
Oh my.
all she does is make fun of my weight. So now I'm doing something about it.
I could care less. It's past the weight. We don't live in terms of seasons.
Sorry.
I could care less what they call us. We don't live in terms of seasons. You could say the last 3 years. That would be better.
The last
Don't use seasons
9
in
years.
terms of time for me anymore, because you lose right there.
But despite their issues in their marriage, Jon and Kate would renew their vows in August of 2008 in Hawaii for their season 4 finale. Though America had witnessed a very acrimonious marriage play out on TV, their vow renewal gave viewers hope that everything was going to be all right, and that regardless of their issues, they were committed to one another.
I will always be your partner for life. I vow to love you, edify you, and encourage you to grow in Christ. By your side, I promise to be a good listener. I promise to ask, how may I help you, honey? In times of stress, I promise to try and explain my feelings and emotions to you. I promise to support you in all our decisions. And lastly, I promise to make God the foundation of our marriage and our family. We will continue to stand the test of time because we trust in God and build our lives in Him. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. Proverbs 18:22.
The joys and hardships we have faced together have bound me to you more deeply than words can explain. In these next 90 years,
90.
I promise to continue to love you and only you as my husband. I promise to respect you as my partner, teammate, and best friend as we raise our 8 children together with the strength that God gives us. I promise to strive to do better. Love you more, speak more gently, and be more respectful and more sensitive to your needs.
Regardless of their vow renewal in 2008, Jon and Kate's relationship was about to take a shift and open the floodgates to a media frenzy. In April of 2009, a month before season 5 was set to air, paparazzi snapped photos of Jon leaving a local bar with an unknown woman, a woman who clearly wasn't Kate. People.com writes, when Kate was out of town promoting her book, paparazzi snapped Jon leaving a local bar at 2 o'clock in the morning with a then 23-year-old woman named Deanna. Subsequent photos showed Deanna sunbathing with others at the Gosselin's 24-acre spread in Wernersville, Pennsylvania.
Media rumors about Jon's infidelity and the couple's heated marital problems exploded in April of 2009 when Us Weekly exposed Jon with third-grade teacher Deanna Hummel.
I just have a lot of anger because this is not where we were supposed to be.
The famed father of 8 allegedly first caught sight of the 23-year-old brunette at Chill Lounge back in January.
The table in the corner had about 10 girls in it, and one of the girls was Deanna, and he bought her a drink, and I think they just started talking. She took a picture with him. So it probably just went off from there.
As Kate celebrated her 34th birthday last March with her kids at the Ace of Cakes kitchen, Jon reportedly spent the day partying with Deanna at a resort in Park City, Utah.
Deanna and Jon would deny any infidelity, with Jon making the following statement, quote, I am sorry for putting my family in this awkward position, given some poor decisions and bad judgments I've made recently. I am working through this difficult time with my family. My family is my top priority. Though Deanna and Jon denied having an affair, her brother Jason would go on the record and state that the two did in fact have a month-long affair. He told the tabloids the following, quote, she's a nice girl, not a homewrecker. He is a bad liar. This isn't healthy for her, but she is refusing to help herself, so here I am trying to help her myself. I hope this clears the air. Jason would further elaborate on the affair and said that Deanna and Jon met in mid-January of 2009 at a lounge. He claimed that by February, Jon was relentlessly pursuing his sister. Jason said, quote, Deanna and Jon would pretty much stay locked away like 2 teenagers in our house. It was weird. He's a grown man. A lot of the time it was pretty, gross listening to her. You know, how do I say this? The walls are thin, let's just say that. I mean, no one wants to hear his sister having intercourse, let alone with a married dude who's like almost twice her age and who has 8 kids and a maybe crazy wife. Ick. Nasty. When this story broke, the tabloids ate it up, and the Gosselins became a media firestorm. Casper writes, while season 4 ended with Jon and Kate renewing their wedding vows on a beach in Hawaii, the season 5 premiere of Jon and Kate Plus 8 was preceded by tabloid and mainstream news about the Gosselins' crumbling marriage. The episode aired in May 2009 and showed the couple, clearly at odds, planning their sextuplet's 5th birthday party. In the show's interview segments, Jon and Kate make it clear their commitment to each other was over, but instead they were both committed to their children and the show. After all, by season 5, the show had become the couple's sole income for providing for their large family, and they were making millions.
The most popular reality show couple on TV say their marriage is over. Jon and Kate of Jon and Kate Plus 8 fame added a big dose of reality to their show Monday night when they announced they are separating. ABC's Andrea Canning has it.
I had decided I just need relief now, and I need to turn the page.
I was too passive. I just let her rule the roost and do whatever she wanted to do and went along with everything. And now I finally stood up on my own 2 feet and I'm proud of myself.
After months of speculation about America's most talked about couple, it's official.
Kate and I have decided to separate.
Yes, we have decided that we will separate.
I try to contemplate and think about it and would it be better for us. It's just not good for our kids, for us to be arguing in front of our kids.
In the season premiere, Kate had said she hoped they could beat the odds, citing that parents of multiples have a higher divorce rate. But Monday, the couple filed documents in Pennsylvania initiating a legal split.
Viewers would sound off on TV Guide's online comment board about the sickening feeling of watching a marriage, indeed a family, fall apart on television. One fan wrote, quote, "Last night's premiere made me sick to my stomach. I have nothing to say against Jon or Kate about the drama surrounding their marriage, because I imagine that there is a lot more to it than any of us know. Marriages and divorces are such sticky and incredibly private things that it feels wrong even postulating. I can understand why they may have started the show in the first place, overwhelmed by the sudden increase in their family and unsure of how they would handle it financially. This show seemed like a great solution. But I think the heart of the show has always been the kids, and when it becomes a drama about marriage, I think it's time to turn the cameras off once and for all."
I don't really want to be alone. I don't want to do this alone. But it's required and I've got to do it.
I'm hurt by all this, but, I'm excited and hurt at the same time because, I have a new chapter in my life. I'm only 32 years old. And I really don't know what's going to happen.
He's all excited.
Yeah, he's so excited.
It's a man's world.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I think there should be a law, if you're going to have an in vitro law that with more than 5 children, you shouldn't be allowed to get divorced. But... But here's the thing. They're keeping the house. The kids stay put. She stays with them 1 week, then she moves out, then he stays with them the next week. I have a couple of questions. What happens now? Because he's young and he's going to find someone. Yeah. Now he remarries. Yeah. Or he has a girlfriend. Now, is the stepmother's going to move in the house for that week? And then the other one. And then also, if this reality show goes away, what do these people live on?
You know what? When the reality show goes away, then real reality sets in.
With all the rumors going around, Kate and her team wasted no time and sprung into action to do some damage control. In the 2009 May edition of People magazine, she would do a cover story that would change the game and make the public see her in a different light. When asked about where she and Jon stood in their marriage, Kate told People magazine the following, quote, "I don't know that we're in the same place anymore, that we want the same thing. I've been struggling with the question of who is this person for a while." When asked what they will do if the show gets canceled, she replied, quote, "We don't have a backup plan anymore. We're caught because this is our job. I have always made more money than Jon. That doesn't bother me at all. It all goes into the same pot. But it obviously at this point really matters to him. He hates to speak. He doesn't write. He doesn't do public appearances. All the things I love. And now he's resenting me for it. My point is, I could care less if all this died tomorrow. For my sake. It's for my kids. I feel if we put ourselves out there, it's got to be worth it. For them." For a while, I was saying, we're not just on different pages, we're in different books. But now I think we're in different libraries. I've walked through this with him for 6 months. First, he said he's unhappy. He needs a career. Great, I said. Go get a part-time job. Volunteer at the girls' school at our church. Do whatever you want. Never happened. So I said, go back to school. You wanted to finish your degree. Now is the time. Yeah, that never happened. Originally, we'd speak together on the weekends. But then he was saying, I don't like to speak. You do most of the speaking anyway. Why don't you just go? So I started carving him off engagements so he could stay home with the kids. That worked well for a while. But then it was, well, I need help. Okay, we found a lovely girl and she started helping. And then it was, I can't live in this neighborhood anymore. So right around that time, we moved. Every complaint he's had, I've tried to fix. But the bottom line is, choose happiness or don't. Nobody can make you happy except yourself. And I don't really feel he is happy. When asked by People magazine if she believed Jon's claims that he did not cheat, Kate said, quote, I don't think I believe him. I don't think that I know the whole truth. And to be very honest, I don't think that I ever will. My gut instinct says he's mad that he got caught. There wasn't a whole lot of thought that went into all that behavior. He has a lot of anger. And I have a lot of anger too and sadness, but I have to keep it in check for the sake of our kids. I was powerless to stop this. I was already on him saying, "What are you doing? Where are you going? I don't understand." But I'm not there. I don't have a say. Do I prefer that he was feeding them pizza instead of the organic meals I prepared in advance? No. Do I prefer that these people I do not know at my house? No. It's a huge disappointment to me. I'm really suffering. He's made bad choices. Things that I would never ever choose for the father of my children to do. Going out late, being in bars with women until 2 o'clock in the morning, buying a car without even talking to me about it. When asked how she feels when people say she deserved to be cheated on because of how poorly she treated Jon, she replied, quote, "Everyone is responsible for their own actions, no matter what. I did not cause this. It's ridiculous, really. It's pathetic. Are you kidding me? I drove him to that? Please. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. My horrible moments, I'm not proud of those. But even so, I should not be blamed for the decisions he's made. I've screamed. I've wanted to strangle him. What makes me the most angry is that all of these choices he made, they're going to affect our children's future. I don't want them to look back and see him as this person. I just feel like he's a different person, like he's not the same anymore. Somewhere along the line, he changed his focus. I don't know why, because my focus hasn't changed.
Pedal, 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 pedal. In fact, in retrospect, Kate cuts Jon some slack. He was the one at home all the time, while Kate was frequently on the road at speaking engagements and book signings.
At some point, I noticed that he was not happy. I give him credit, understandably so. He, was at home. I was traveling a lot, approved by him, always. He would say he didn't feel like he had a purpose or whatever. So I said to him, go get a part-time job. At that point, I had contracts I had signed, I was speaking, I was book touring, and I was doing all of these things, and he wasn't saying don't do those things. He was just saying, well, I need something else.
So who called it quits? Who first said, we can't make this work?
There was a lot of discussions sometime last year because we knew at some point something had to give. It was a very mutually agreed upon thing.
Do you empathize with Jon at all, what he was going through? 8 kids, by the age of 27, and maybe not having a chance to really grow up, in his words.
I think once you become a parent, it's too late to worry about what should have, could have, would have been done. Mm-hmm. I think by the time you're a parent, it's not your own goals anymore. It's for your kids.
Did he lose sight of that goal then?
I still wake up every day. And I think the phone will ring and it'll be the old Jon.
You've said that you miss the old Jon.
My kids say it.
Your kids say it.
Upon Kate's cover story, the public rallied around her as they felt bad for the mother of 8. The narrative was that while she was out working, her husband was cheating on her. It must be noted that Jon wasn't the only one accused of cheating. Kate was rumored to have had an affair with their bodyguard, something she denied.
To kind of take the spotlight off of himself and his bad behavior and turn it on me.
When you saw pictures in the tabloids of him out with young girls, pictures with college students in your hometown, how did that feel?
It was hurtful. It wasn't really surprising at that point because I knew what I knew. And
what did you know?
Well, his unhappiness, that to me was one. I don't want to
diminish it by saying one symptom of what I saw going on, but it certainly didn't surprise me. Did it shock me though? Yes, to see, pictures of him here or there. It was very
allegations that there were girls even in your home. Did you see those reports?
I did.
Sunbathing on your front lawn, you saw
Yeah.
those?
Yeah. It was not the person that I knew.
The tabloids had been counting down the days when Jon and Kate would announce their divorce, and once they did, it became a media war between them, with both of them doing interviews and making public statements. In July of 2009, Kate would speak to the press and do another interview, further elaborating on the reason why she filed for divorce. She said, quote, "Jon has been asking for this for a long time. He does not want to be married to me anymore. No questions asked. He went and hired a lawyer and said, 'You better get one.' So I did. I never would have made that step. I never would have done it. But I did because he told me to do it."
You and Jon renewed your marriage vows a year ago, this month in Hawaii. What happened? How do you go from renewing vows to filing for divorce in a year?
It is a question I ask myself every day. I don't have the answer.
What happened?
I don't know.
Did he made this decision?
It's just an issue that we discussed amongst ourselves. I don't feel like that is something that we need to discuss the details
so famous, you and him and the kids, and then you leave out those details, don't you disappoint the audience that's come to expect more?
My main concern is my kids, and I don't want them to see or hear anything on TV that I didn't discuss with them. And we discussed what they need to know at their developmental age group, but I don't feel like I need to go any further than that at this time.
Who said let's separate?
It's all in that vault.
Mix.
Yeah, it's all in that thing where, it just kind of shook out the way that it did.
Do you take any responsibility?
Everyone who is in a divorce or has been is responsible to a degree.
When you filed, though, you issued a statement, and this was public because the public's interested in you, saying that Jon's activities had left you no choice but to do so. What are we talking about?
I am not at liberty to discuss that because for the sake of my children, I only speak positive.
But the implication is obvious, isn't it, Kate?
There were some details there that I can't share, but that did lead me to do that, yes.
Kate's statements would paint her in an interesting position and help reinvent her image. Prior to her divorce, the media saw Kate as a critical, demanding, controlling woman that dominates her husband. Now they would see Kate as a woman whose husband cheated on her and left her to raise their 8 children alone. Casper writes, Kate's fans admired her parenting pluck and her ability to face raising 8 small children without their father. Kate was now seen as a supermom.
Why is it such a good thing to have a private life public?
It has been a source of huge, for whatever reason, inspiration for a lot of people. Many people, many parents feel that their decisions are maybe not great decisions. Every parent has that, parent guilt of, my goal is to produce wonderful, productive individuals and put them out into society. That is the goal of a parent. For us to show the world that we are not perfect. Life is unpredictable, but life always goes on, and there's always something to look forward to. And for me, that is raising my children to the best of my ability.
But as an intelligent person, you also know to all good things, there are downsides.
Absolutely. With every positive, there is a negative across the board in life. It's about choosing to see the positive and working with the negative.
So what happens now? Are you and the kids going to do the show? Jon is out?
I'm not the person to make that decision. I know that myself and the kids will continue the show.
Well, if Jon says, I don't want to do it anymore, I don't want to be part of it, I'm divorced, I don't need this, will the network say it's you and the kids?
That would be a question for the network.
Will the name of the show change?
That would be a question for the network.
And if they said, forget it, that would be okay with you? And if they said, we'll continue, that's okay with you?
That would be their decision.
So why are you letting the network run you?
As Kate was reinventing her image, Jon's was spiraling. Reports would come out that he was dating Haley Glassman, the daughter of Kate's plastic surgeon. According to the media, when Jon moved out of their marital home, he moved into the home of Kate's plastic surgeon, Haley's parents. The two began dating. Jon's relationship with Haley would further damage his already tarnished image, and the media and public weren't going to go easy on him. His new relationship would only further convince them that he had in fact cheated on Kate and abandoned his children. Though Jon tried to tell his side of the story and explain that he did not cheat on Kate, the tabloids, the press, didn't want to hear that.
About Haley Glassman, this woman that Jon is reportedly having a relationship with. She was the daughter of the plastic surgeon who did your tummy tuck. Do you know her? Have you met her?
I met her once a few years ago when the Glassmans, she was home from college and the Glassmans introduced us to her. She, literally, it was probably like a 2-minute meeting.
And the fact that Jon now is having a relationship with her.
It's another one of the things that I'm dealing with.
Now she's talking about him, though, and he takes his anger out on me. I shouldn't have to put up with him being abusive. Does that sound like the Jon you know?
I know that he has a lot of anger, and I don't know. I guess I don't in any way want to disparage him or it doesn't mean I don't feel upset and angry and hurt by a lot of what has taken place. It's just that I need to remain, that I need to be positive.
He's the father of your children.
And he is. And he always will be. And that fact will not change.
A source close to the situation during that time tried to speak up in Jon's defense. They told the media the following, quote, "Jon was heartbroken, totally heartbroken. Kate told him to take a hike. That's why Jon moved out of the home. Kate was done with him. What many people don't know is that Jon and Kate split up late last year. She said she wanted her life. She said she was done. It came out of the blue. Soon afterwards, Jon moved out of the couple's bedroom and slept elsewhere in the house and started going out to clubs and bars." Kate's brother Kevin and his wife Jody would confirm these claims and tell the media that Jon and Kate had in fact been separated for quite some time, and that they only pretended to still be together for the cameras. They claim that Jon and Kate privately separated months before it was announced to the public. They also allege that Kate made a proposal to Jon to sign a contract that would allow him to see and date other people, as long as he continued to film.
All we know is what Jon has told us, that Kate came to him a while ago with a contract stating that he can have girlfriends and that he can do his own thing, that they will live separate lives, and
they just need to
continue the show.
Right. In exchange, Jon needs to show up for filming, basically is what it's saying. Jon needs to be there when the filming's going on, but otherwise he has the freedom certain days to do whatever he wants. Jon was taken back when Kate came to him and said, "It's over, it's done." I think he was hurt by it. 6 months ago, Kate came to Jon and said, "Hey, it's over." And I don't think typically I would say this, but they're showing America that it's a thriving family, and it's not what they're living. Back when we used to be around, when they were filming, they would fight so incredibly much that the film crew would have a hard time getting 15 minutes worth of decent footage out of 8 hours of filming. It was horrible. Some of the production crew came to us and said how they had moral problems with how they acted.
In the essay, Jon and Kate Plus 8, a case study of social media and image repair tactics, author Mia Moody writes the following, quote, "Kate appeared on 3 People magazine covers in 2009, compared to Jon, who only appeared on 1. In keeping with her solemn facade, Kate appeared conservative and motherly in cover photos. In interviews, she consistently brought up factors such as failure, loneliness, grief, and anger. Feelings most women who have gone through a divorce can understand. Most articles framed her positively as she persistently reiterated concern for her children. In the end, the reality television star positioned herself as a distraught single mother struggling with her estranged husband's irresponsible behavior. Subsequently, she came across as vulnerable, which may have helped people forget her previous portrayals as harsh and domineering. Kate and her team would do several interviews, running the same story that portrayed Jon as a no-good husband and a deadbeat father who broke up their family. But this narrative, however, wasn't entirely true. In September 2009, Jon would do an interview with ABC News to tell his side of the story.
It was the picture that changed everything. A late-night photo of Jon and 23-year-old third-grade teacher Deanna Hummel leaving a club. But America's dad denies that he was caught with another woman.
That was just my friend. I just hung out with her, you know.
Not a girlfriend?
No.
Doesn't her brother say that you were fooling around with her?
Of course. Doesn't her brother get paid? Everyone gets paid.
This is her, right? She's looking good. Kate strikes back. That's what they use in Star Trek against the evil empire.
Right.
Yours.
Right.
What do you think when you hear about one of these magazine covers?
I would say, let's finish what we got to finish and move on with our lives and stop feeding into the frenzy.
Excuse me right here. Excuse us.
The media feeding frenzy and the Goslings reality series are a long way from the simple beginnings and tender moments shared in these private home videos from Jon.
Hello, I need your help.
Go to 11.
No, I can't. Would
Why?
you come here? Because.
But the chaotic stress of raising 8 children began taking its toll on the young couple. Even viewers noticed.
I'm not talking to you anymore.
Look, this is good for going pee potty.
It's great.
Okay, you need to pay attention.
No. You need to stop yelling.
I got married at 22. I had twins at 23. I had sextuplets at 27. Bye-bye 20s. You know, and then raising all those kids until your 30s. And, you know, you don't even think about what's going on around you. You just do what you got to do to survive.
But Jon says his marriage didn't end because of parenting demands or because of the nagging that Kate does on the show.
You annoyed with me?
Yes, very.
Why?
Because the way you yell at me in there like I'm a freaking dog.
He says off camera, the relationship was much worse. Jon says before he ever appeared in a tabloid magazine, his marriage was already in trouble.
When it got so bad I couldn't take it anymore, I mean, I was sleeping in the apartment above my garage. I'm paying a mortgage on a house that I don't even sleep in anymore.
He says everything really came to a head one October evening at the dinner table.
You remember the conversation?
Yes, I know exactly where I was sitting at my dining room table. I was eating dinner. She came walking in, and the next thing out of her mouth was, I don't even know why we got married.
Wasn't just a moment of anger?
No. It was like weird. It was like everything was cool. Dinner time came. Kids went to bed. And then she comes strolling in and says these things. But there was no bad press then. There was nothing then. There was no tabloids, nothing. Everything was always good. Good housekeeping and all the good magazines and a lovely story, lovely family, good PR, everything. It's just out of the blue.
You don't know why she
I don't know why. Go to therapy and figure it out. Help me out. Give me closure. I don't trust her anymore. I was abused.
What does that mean? You're being abused?
I was verbally abused. I was beaten down. She separated me from my family, my mom and my brothers. They say to me, it's so good to have the real Jon back. It's so good to have the warm, loving, kind, caring person that we knew you before you got married. I mean, she used to hold the kids over my head and say, you know, don't spend time with your mom, spend time with your kids. Why can't I spend time with my mom and my kids together? I'm not going back to that lifestyle.
She
ever.
changed you?
I've changed for her because I loved her. But don't forget who you are. That's what happened to me.
Come on, Jon, don't do it lazy. Get up and do it. Daddy has a little trouble listening.
Reflecting on his failed marriage, Jon says he's had his share of doubts and his share of tears.
I felt maybe I was too passive. Maybe I didn't stand my ground 10 years ago. Maybe I didn't stick up for my kids. But it's gone. I can't get that back. I mean, the pictures I gave you, I cried when I picked through the pictures. Because maybe I should have kissed Matt and Karen more. You know? It's tough.
You feel like you let them down?
I won't know.
But for all the regret John feels as a father, he says he has no regrets about ending his marriage.
I can't sit on the sofa with that woman. I can't sit on someone right now that I despise.
Despise?
I despise because she's not speaking from the heart. Please, the stuff you tell me in private should be the stuff you tell me on TV. Please.
You got to be careful about how you talk about Kate as the mother of your kids. Maybe it's unfair, but the mother of your child is not supposed to be criticized.
Neither is the father.
The public were shocked by the allegations Jon made. Many would say that this interview didn't help his image at all. The media would call him unhinged, angry, and bitter. The EW wrote the following article, quote, Jon Gosselin dug himself into a deep hole this morning on Good Morning America with a clip of him saying he despises his wife, Kate. Gosselin only made things worse for himself. Talking about his girlfriend, Haley, he said, quote, I love her more than Kate. Jon's comments today allowed Kate the opportunity to issue a classy-sounding response, saying, for the sake of my children, I maintain that I'm not going to go into details of aspects I believe should remain private. Jon was going off the rails, but what can you do with a guy who tells you one moment he's been drinking a lot, and in the next breath says, my father was an alcoholic, that his grandfather was an alcoholic, and he knows he doesn't want to inherit the disease. Jon seems to tend toward making bad decisions.
I'm learning, my father, his father, I'm learning to break the pattern. I know I was passive. I know I was an avoider.
Why is this always about you? Why are we talking about you? She asked you about your children.
Because he's an important part of his
Can he even speak without you piping in? I'd like to hear, how does it always get back to you?
I don't know. I just thought, you needed
Well, that's a good place to start.
Nancy, let me ask you this question with regards to custody. Is there anything that Jon has done that might cause him to lose custody of the children?
Well, if allegations in the tabloids are to be taken as evidence, then maybe.
Could they be?
If they're true. But, who knows if they're true?
Do you feel he's abandoning his kids by moving to New York City?
I don't understand why he's not living down the street. If he's got to get a divorce, if you two can't work it out, why do you want him to move away to New York and be that far away from your children?
Why do you feel like you need to be in New York and not closer
I'm in
to
New
the
York
kids?
because I have business in New York. I have contacts in New York. I'm proceeding to do other career things. If I had to buy a hotel room, no one's flipping the bill for that. It's expensive enough. I have to move further with my career to afford my kids as well.
Do you think joint custody will work for Jon and Kate?
I hope it does, because even if we disapprove of the way he's behaved, those children love him and they need their father.
With the dissolution of their marriage, TLC renamed Jon and Kate Plus 8 to Kate Plus 8. Jon was contracted to appear on the show. In October 2009, he put signs outside his house and refused to film. He then filed a lawsuit against TLC for violating Pennsylvania's child labor laws. In turn, TLC countersued Jon for breach of contract after he made unpaid and paid media appearances. Jon was now not only in a nasty divorce battle with his estranged wife, Kate, but he would also embark on a nasty battle with a big corporation. TLC issued the following statement, quote, we are aware of Jon Gosselin's recent statements and remain deeply disappointed at his continued erratic behavior. He and the family were shooting as recently as last Friday without incident, and his latest comments are grossly inaccurate, without merit, and are clearly opportunistic. Despite Jon Gosselin's repeated self-destructive and unprofessional actions, he remains under an exclusive contract with TLC. Direct filming of the children has been currently suspended, pending further conversations between both parents.
Really nasty last week when Jon stopped production on Kate Plus 8 because he wanted to be a better dad. That's what he said. Nancy Grace, what do you think?
I think that it is a scam. And I say that simply because of the timing. For years, Jon, you had your children on TV on a reality show. But suddenly, when it's no longer Jon and Kate Plus 8, it's Kate Plus 8, you suddenly have a problem with it and you want it to all come to an end. And I don't believe that.
Regardless of the timing, I'm their father, and I will do what's best for my children.
The timing is...
Oh, you got your lawyer here? You're afraid to answer questions? Whatever. What's important is the children, and not these two self-absorbed husband and wife who argue constantly in front of their children.
Exactly. That's why they're coming off.
That's why the show is
Why don't
coming
you just
to a
quit
stop.
arguing and work on your marriage?
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be a better idea?
Exactly.
And go
If I
back to
could
a
get
happy
Kate-
family?
If I could get Kate to mediate and talk,
We could do that. You've been to therapy together once and have not been back, but you want to go back with Kate, right?
Yes, I would love to go to mediation. I would love to be mom and dad. We're not going to be husband and wife.
Hey, you talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk, because
Actions
you can't
speak
go
louder than
out
words.
with one
Actions speak
22-year-old
louder
after the next while
Actions-
she's at home with the children and say, you want to work it out. That's not working it
joint
out,
share-
John Dawson.
Hold on
It's
for
joint
just a
shared
second.
custody. When she's home, she's home. When I'm home, I'm home. So we've shared the differences. I don't tell you how to parent. I parent my children in a certain way, and Kate parents.
Well, if you don't accept my advice, then don't sit up here and ask for it.
In the midst of all of this, Kate would make public claims that Jon stole money out of their joint bank account. She would do interviews telling the media and tabloids that he drained the account and left her with nothing.
Well, let's talk about the latest that you have awakened to, this report that Jon emptied a joint bank account of hundreds of thousands of dollars, leaving you with just $1,000. Is that accurate?
It is accurate. When we started this out, I was determined. I didn't want to discuss this stuff. I didn't want it out there. I didn't want to talk about it. Obviously, it has gotten out, and it is true.
So how much money did he take out of the account? And what were the stipulations with regard to that account? When you could take out money and for what purposes?
Back in the beginning, when we had our first meeting, the arbitrator said that neither one of us could take money without the other's consent. However, I was given, historically, I am the bill payer, I am the money manager, so obviously I was allowed to show proof of every bill I paid and use that money that way. The money, our liquid money, this joint bank account contains all of our liquid money, and it was sitting there waiting to be paid. He was not allowed to touch it. At some point I removed it to keep it safe on the suggestion of my lawyer, but needed to put it back according to the arbitrator. I did that. I felt
Why
unsafe.
did you remove it? Did you think that he was going to try to take funds out of that account?
He had done it a few days before I filed for divorce. He didn't empty it completely, but it was enough that that I was afraid. In fact, at some point, up until that point, I had taken $100,000 and put it aside safely so that I could buy my kids food if this occurred. I was afraid. He was literally buying erratic purchases, randomly purchasing things. And I'm sorry. The last thing I wanted was to do this show and end up not being able to pay my bills. So I put money aside, willingly brought it forward and split it with him when we had our meeting. So he took the $50,000 and did whatever with it. I paid bills with my $50,000. And once the court arbitrator stepped in, I felt like the money, I had to put it back. I didn't feel like it would be safe, to be honest. And he took $230,000 of the $231,000 that we have liquid. And I have a stack of bills in my purse I can't drop in the mail.
Well, let me tell you what his lawyer said. We reached out. They did not respond to us, but they did respond to ET and the Insider. And they said Jon, quote, has not withdrawn any money for his own remuneration, with the exception of the past several months, wherein he believes he only withdrew approximately $175,000. And, quote, it is not unlikely when the arbitrator or court receive a full accounting of all the proceeds that Jon will be awarded substantial additional funds.
I have a few comments to that. First of all, I have the accounting over the last few months, and it's exactly $230,000 beginning on August 10th, and his last withdrawal was September 29th. Second of all, it's wonderful to say that he will be awarded significant funds. However, there are no significant funds for him to be awarded. And I don't care that he feels he needs to be awarded this. When you have left your children and their mother unable to pay the roof over their head, it's not acceptable. Call me crazy, I've said it before, but I'm still hoping that at some point I'll receive a phone call and the old Jon is back. It's a terribly hard situation to be in. I never wanted to sit here talking about these details. I just feel like I need to get the facts out there, the truth, not my opinion, the truth of what has actually occurred and what is occurring, because when my kids look back on it, I don't want them to see untruths. I want them to see the balance of, no, this is reality.
But does any part of you, Kate, believe that maybe he's right, maybe enough's enough now? Maybe it's time to put this show to bed and to resolve these issues very privately?
I wish I could, but he keeps playing to the media. He doesn't tell me the things you've seen him say on TV, I have never heard from him. It doesn't even sound like his words.
The public felt sorry for Kate, who had 8 children to support. They saw Jon as someone who was intentionally sabotaging his family's ability to make money, and he was interfering in Kate's ability to provide for their children. The two would battle it out in the press, and the public would feel compelled to choose whose side they were on.
I've made $177,500 worth of withdrawals this year. First time ever. I haven't even taken 10% of my pay. We've made $2,250,000 collectively, and I've only taken $177,500 in the course of 4.5 years. Not in one day. You have to understand, TLC pays for everything. They pay for landscaping, they pay for craft services, which in normal terms is a chef, ironing, dry cleaning, wardrobe, all that other stuff.
So, Jon, in other words, if
the show ends.
Yes, exactly.
If the show
production
ends,
halts, then who's
there's
going to
enough
pay all
money.
of those
There's
bills?
enough money. I know there's enough money. Where's the rest of the money, Kate? What'd you do with it? I mean, I took less than 10%. Less than 10% since March till now. Less than 10%. Where is the $2 million? $2 million.
Pointed and passionate over the situation, yes. But the 32-year-old former computer tech says he's not the one who's playing fast and furious with the money. Kate is. You're not angry?
I'm not angry.
How can you not be?
I'm not angry because now I have all the proof. You know, I've been harboring all this stuff to save Kate the embarrassment. Why would she go on national television? Why would she call an emergency Today Show appearance? Maybe she doesn't know that I have all the proof. I have no idea. But I have nothing to hold back. I'll produce everything you want me to produce. So what is it, Kate? Do you want me to be an initiator, or do you want me to be an avoider and passive and come back?
Jon Gosling's plea to his estranged wife. Jon thinks there's little hope for their 10-year marriage.
She wants me to come back and do as I'm told. You know, and I want to be a man. I want to take initiative for myself. She asked me for 10 years to be a man and take an initiative for myself, to stop being an avoider, stop being passive. And when I finally do those two things, she's bashing me.
Do you think in her heart of hearts she would like to have you back?
Absolutely not. She's told me our divorce is over. If she wanted me back, why did she file for divorce?
Despite the bitterness of today, he feels there is hope for the future.
Do you think this relationship can be fixed?
This relationship can be fixed. We can actually be cordial to one another, discuss things in private, then go out in the media together and say, we've worked our differences out. We know we won't be husband and wife. Let's just be mom and dad and work the whole thing out. I mean, it's embarrassing to our kids. They're gonna go to school and their friends. I mean, doesn't she think that the parents aren't talking about it in their houses and their friends aren't going to go to Maddie and Kara? I mean, it's ridiculous.
How are you going to turn this around and make it positive?
Let me tell you, in the beginning when we did Jon and Kate Plus 8, we were role models as parents having 8 kids. Now I think we should be role models as we're still parents, we're divorced parents, but I'm showing America how it works. I want to be an example for other fathers that, hey, you don't have to listen to what the big guy says. You listen to your heart and do what's right. And she needs to break away from TLC, be her own person, speak from her heart, be the kind person that I know she can be.
Eventually, a judge ordered that both Jon and Kate should return any money that they had taken out of their joint account. It should be noted that the media didn't really report on the fact that Kate was also ordered to return the money she took. The tabloids heavily reported that Jon had to return the money, yet failed to report on the fact that Kate was also ordered to do the same. Jon and Kate's public divorce and custody battle would play out even more when the two got the police involved during a dispute. According to them, during Jon's custodial time with the children, he hired an extra babysitter to help out with the kids. This set Kate off because she did not approve of this particular babysitter. Take a look.
Kate said she was coming home, and I said, well, it's my time to spend time with the kids. And like, you know me, I don't come home when she's with the kids because I respect her time with the kids. You know, that's because now, before, obviously, when we were married, we spent time with the kids, and that was it. But now with custody, when she has custody, I don't come home, and vice versa. That's the way it's supposed to work. And then she tried to come home yesterday, and I wouldn't let her in the gate. And I guess she called the police, and the police came, and they basically said it was a civil matter, and that we would have to work it out with our attorneys and stuff like that. And you know, and the officer pulled me aside. I'm like, this has never happened to me before. And I just said, well, I'm spending time with my kids, and you know, I'm spending quality time with my kids, and she's gonna have to leave. And she tried to try it up with the cops, and it didn't work, and they just basically said you have to leave. And my attorney said, yeah, to the police officer that gotta leave, and that was it.
What was her reason for wanting to come in?
I guess she didn't agree with my babysitting.
When the media found out about this incident, Kate would do a few interviews to defend herself.
It goes back to the recent, the police being called, blah, 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 the whole babysitter thing.
Oh, you objected to this particular babysitter coming.
This is the babysitter I objected to, and I couldn't tell you why at that time. It was just like my mother's intuition. I did not want her there, and strangely...
So just because I am so lame on all of this, you went to your house and saw a babysitter and didn't like her. I don't know the story.
Oh, well, the story was, it was John's custody, and obviously I wasn't supposed to be there, which is understandable. I learned that he had asked this babysitter to come over. He was not going to be home. And it started out very friendly. I called him and I said, if you're not going to be home, can I come home and be with the kids? I mean, I don't care if he's not going to be there. I'd rather be there. And it turned into this big thing. No, it's my custody.
Let me ask you something. Now, so it was his custody day, and you heard he was hiring a babysitter that you didn't approve of, so you went over there?
Well, he had used her before, and again, my alarms and whistles went off, and I didn't quite know why. And I had asked him kindly, can you use our approved babysitters that we have? And for whatever reason, he used this girl again. He called her again to babysit.
Well, we know what the reason is now. Well, no, we don't know. I want to see, I'm trying to understand what happened, first of all, because I'm getting a little bit confused, because if it was his
turn with the kids
and he hired someone, was it someone that you knew and you didn't like, or
It was this girl that's in this article, and it was, I had never met her. I still have never met her.
Right.
And I didn't approve of her because what I'm telling you is my intuition was saying no.
Right,
and I didn't know why. So again, going back, it started out with a friendly phone call, me saying, hey, can I be there with the kids if you're not going to be? Because essentially when I don't have custody, I'm in hiding from the paparazzi, literally. I'm close to home, and I'm just sitting
you
there.
kind of knew he wasn't going to say yes, because it was his time.
For the sake of the kids, he would.
But it was his time and he was doing what he was doing. But how did tell me, I don't understand the babysitter part. I'm trying to figure out what made you go over there.
Because I went over there, and it was wrong of me in the end to appear on his custody day, but I was really hoping that for the sake of the kids, he would see that I'm saying, look, I'm available and I'm free and I'm their mom.
Wait. I'm sorry. I understand that. But when you go into a custody thing with someone, and you have your specific time and their specific time, and you're not supposed to walk. And I'm sorry, that's the law.
That's what the law says.
And you could have gone to jail.
Says something different.
But when you know somebody else,
you could have gone to jail. Do you realize that?
I've learned my lesson, and I learned that it was not a good thing. And I just do need to say that in all of this heat, the kids were not present. And I actually showed up and cried. I didn't even say a word. I sat at the gate and just sobbed. And I realized that I was wrong and it was his custody. Will I do it again? No. But it doesn't answer to me like a babysitter I've never met or approved of.
It bothers me. He's had this babysitter once before.
It gets so ugly because you know what the law says in your head, but then you got something right here that goes,
you cannot do that.
I know.
Do
and
that.
I'm saying I agree with you.
When they do it to you.
After months of a public war, Jon and Kate's divorce was finalized in December of 2009. Kate would release the following statement, quote, I am very relieved that our divorce has been finalized, and I look forward to the new year, focusing on the children. On behalf of myself and my legal team, I want to express my deep appreciation to the judge and his staff for resolving the case. This has been a challenging transition for all of us, but I am confident that we will move ahead with the important task of reconstructing our lives. And that takes us to 2010. 2010 was a year of renewal, rebirth, and transformation for Kate Gosselin. Not only was she moving forward with her show, Kate Plus 8, but she was also showing off a new physical image. Gone were the days of sweatpants, as Kate was now seen gracing the cover of magazines with a new and improved look.
She had that hairstyle with the long
Yes,
thing, the
iconic
spiky
of
thing.
2009, the most iconic haircut of 2009.
She had it for like 3 years,
for a
right?
long time. And I think what we did is we really made her sexy. We actually changed the way she felt about herself. And I think that the way the public is going to view her as well.
Did she come to you and say, this is what I want, or did you guide her in this new direction?
Well, we had a consultation, and the idea was to take her from, being kind of ordinary, with that spiked in the back and that long, she was kind of hiding behind that piece in the front. So what I wanted to do, instead of making it so that it was shorter to longer, I wanted to make it shorter in the front, a little sexiness around the eyes with a bang.
Did she resist you at all?
Oh my God.
She did?
I think that every woman kind of resists change, right?
Not easy.
And I think length of hair adds a little bit of sexiness to a woman, even when she doesn't expect it.
Right.
In February, Jon and TLC would reach a confidential settlement agreement. It must be noted that there were contrasting stories regarding who filed this lawsuit first. Some reports claim that Jon sued TLC for violating Pennsylvania's child labor laws, and that TLC countersued for breach of contract. Other reports claim that TLC filed first and Jon countersued. Nevertheless, upon reaching a settlement agreement, TLC would slap Jon with a gag order preventing him from speaking about the show and certain aspects of his relationship with Kate. He was also banned from appearing on media outlets. This gag order would last 10 years.
TLC's had a ratings hit with their show Jon and Kate Plus 8, which chronicled their lives raising twins and sextuplets. TLC is seeking unspecified compensatory damages. Jon Gosselin has requested to be released from his exclusive TLC deal, but the network has declined to let him go.
Jon's gag order was very convenient for Kate because she could continue doing interviews and pushing narratives that weren't entirely true, while Jon had to remain quiet on certain issues. But he wouldn't stay silent for long. After Kate announced her participation in the hit reality show Dancing with the Stars, Jon and Kate would battle it out in the public again.
Kate Gosselin is facing a brand new battle today from her ex-husband, Jon. TMZ reporting that Jon Gosselin and his new attorney are headed to court to demand primary custody of the 8 kids because Jon thinks Kate is an absentee mom as a result of her stint on Stars. Well, late today, Kate told Showbiz Tonight her angry take on all this. Let's begin with the Kate Gosselin brand new troubles today. Her ex, Jon, has reportedly hired a new attorney to fight for primary custody of the kids. Now, Sonny, I've got to point out that the reason Kate is absent is because she is working on Dancing with the Stars and collecting a paycheck to support her family. Is this just a ridiculous claim on the part of Jon?
It is so ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, let's face it. The reason he is no longer with Kate is because he's a big cheater and likes young girls. And she basically left him. He doesn't work. What does he do for a living? And why does he have the right to call her an absentee mother? I mean, what does he do?
What is Kate doing? She's working to provide for her family. What's Jon doing? I don't know. He thinks he's a media figure. I haven't seen him on TV. Have you?
Kate had a lot on her plate during this time. And once again, her frustrations and attitude would play out for the world to see, as cameras caught arguments with her dance partner Tony. In 2009, the public developed a sense of empathy for Kate and what she was going through. But upon reports of her being a diva on Dancing with the Stars and her fights with Tony, the public's opinion began to shift again.
Everybody knows yesterday I wore a Team Kate t-shirt. Yes. You know, I was rooting for her. Everybody on Twitter hates me. Why? Why are you rooting for Kate? Because, you know, my whole thing was she is a single mom trying to take care of her kids. She's doing what she's got to do.
She needs to look like she's happy to be there, even if she can't dance. Because she's an angry bitch, this one.
Mother to mother, you don't have to explain exhaustion to me, but a little more than usual this week. So what's been going on?
Oh, lots. I had a nice visit from 8 little friends.
Oh, she's so... don't use your kids. Don't use your kids to get votes. It's an excuse thing.
She cannot dance.
After being on TV for 6 years, TLC would finally pull the plug on Kate Plus 8 due to poor ratings ever since they fired Jon from the show. The public had watched the Gosselin kids grow up and make fond memories, but they also watched Jon and Kate battle it out, Kate's meltdowns, and the toxicity that fame brings. It's safe to say the public were very happy that the show was canceled and that the kids could move forward living private lives.
Will her kids be okay? In the interview, Kate reveals she is devastated by the cancellation of her show. Here's what she's telling people. I'm freaking out big time. My kids weren't ready. Nobody was. I've never quit a job in my life without having something else lined up. This has been ended for me on a moment's notice. I don't know what's next. And look, I do get it. She's got her 8 kids to worry about, but I'm not sure if she should have put all of her eggs in the reality show basket. Look, Vienna, you've had great success on reality TV. Do you think Kate's overreacting here, or would you be worried just like her?
I kind of have a good take of both sides. I understand why she is upset. She's been doing this for years, and this is what's been paying the bills and all she knows really right now. But she's been making a lot of money, and she should have been thinking reality TV isn't going to last her entire life. And I feel personally that, for myself, I save as much as I possibly can because there's a lifeline to all of this. You don't see actors acting their entire lives. You don't see reality stars on reality TV forever. There comes a time when there's an end, and I think she should have been preparing for this, and I think that she should have had a backup lined up, and she should have money saved for her kids so that, when this time came, she had some cushion to lean back on.
Yeah, no, absolutely a great point, and it's a sentiment echoed by Kate Gosselin's ex, Jon Gosselin. He was speaking out today about Kate's freak out. Here's what he's telling RumorFix.com. He says, reality TV is not a career. Get back to a normal life, a simple life, provide for your family. So, Vienna, I think you have a realistic opinion about that. It really is not necessarily a career that you can count on.
Yeah.
In 2013, Kate would resurface after she accused Jon of illegally hacking her and providing a reporter with private information. LA Time writes, quote, Kate filed a federal lawsuit against Jon and the writer of a tell-all book, alleging that around the time of their 2009 separation, her former husband hacked into her password-protected email, bank, and phone accounts, and also stole from her house a hard drive containing personal information. In the suit, she said he then funneled the private information to Robert Hoffman, a tabloid journalist and pal of Jon's, who used it to pin Kate Gosselin how she fooled the world. The book was pulled by major retailers such as Amazon a mere 2 days after it was released, because the information obtained in it was obtained illegally, the suit said. In an interview with Radar Online, Hoffman said he had more information on hand, in addition to what was published in the book. He said, quote, the other 90% of the material that I possess will not be published, ever. But you can be sure that if I'm falsely accused of anything and dragged into court, or called a liar by Kate Gosselin or her lawyers, this information will come out, including photographs. In the book, Hoffman alleged the following. It's important to keep in mind that these claims are alleged. Hoffman wrote, quote, Kate used a stick, a spoon, or whatever else she had to discipline the dogs for minor infractions that dogs commit. She locked them outside in the freezing rain and snow. Kate Gosselin is cruel, and she seems to enjoy the power that she has over children, animals, and adults. He alleged that Kate hid money in her bodyguard's account, writing, quote, in the summer of 2009, Kate started removing large amounts of money from the Gosselins' joint bank accounts. Instead of depositing it in an account under her own name, she put it in a trust fund and chose Steve, her bodyguard, as the trustee. In their 2010 divorce documents, Jon Gosselin gave a disturbing father statement of issues that outlined how Kate disciplined the children. According to Jon, Kate physically harmed the children. The divorce document read, quote, while father would prefer that mother not physically discipline the children, if mother is going to do so, she should not do so to the point of leaving marks on the children. Hoffman would allege that Kate wanted to be famous and was inspired to have multiples because of another family with multiples. He claims that she went behind her doctor's back and took additional medication that would help her produce more eggs and have multiples. He wrote, quote, Kate secretly wanted multiples, so she switched and found a new doctor who would give IUI treatments for her undiagnosed case of PCOS. He claims that Kate received her final injection of HCG followed by her IUI treatment, went home, and then gave herself at least one more additional shot of HCG, hoping it would help release more eggs for fertilization. Kate has denied these allegations. After retailers removed the book from shelves, Kate dropped the lawsuit in November of 2013. Since her show was canceled, Kate would do several interviews speaking about her finances and her need to work and make money. Because of her public statements, the media, the tabloids, and the public would question where all the money went.
No, but for the average person in the country, you made a lot of money.
And
okay, you were
it was
making
a huge blessing
yes.
to be able to.
Right. So you got some plastic surgery, so they say, but it looked like it.
I did have a tummy tuck.
Okay,
absolutely.
so people were saying, okay, now you have a tummy tuck. You were theoretically hanging out with your security person.
Oh my gosh.
No. Okay. No. So that's no.
No.
Okay.
No.
You know, you've said publicly that you kind of need to support your kids. You need money to support your kids. So I think people want to know where the money went, where the money is. You know, because right? Do you guys want to know where the money is? All right. And by the way, I want you to know, I don't judge you at all. I know what you're talking about. I just want to be able to have a conversation with you because these are moms here and they want to understand like who you really are.
And I'm real and I have nothing to hide.
So let's just do it. Let's just do it and not like, so let's just do it.
So at the very beginning, you cross a line where you realize like, okay, so I took this amount of privacy from my kids. I'm fully aware of that. The majority of what we made, I personally took and put in a college fund for them because they will go to college.
Got it. And you have 8 kids sent through college.
So yeah, so I use coupons. We don't wear the top brands. Those things to me aren't overly important, but college, school, and their house where they live is important. And you know, divorce is divorce. And when you're going through divorce, of course, a lot of it you're looking back over the years to see in your own mind what went wrong, what happened. I think it magnified it, maybe. It caused things to come to light sooner, but looking back, those issues were always there. And I feel like the person, honestly, the person that I married nearly overnight was not that person anymore.
In the years that followed, Jon would work as a waiter, a DJ, and at an exotic dance club. He would do interviews voicing his opinion about the dark side of reality television and how it impacted his family. His relationship with Kate was non-existent, and he would also share that his relationship with some of his kids was also non-existent as a result of parental alienation.
How much do you see your kids now?
I see my kids every week, once a night. I have a dinner night with them, and then I have them every other weekend. So I do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
You get all of them?
Most of the time I get 4. I haven't seen all of my kids together in about 3 years. I only get what I get. So like,
what do you mean by that?
So with my custody, I do the logistics. So I have to go to the house and get the kids, or I have to go to the bus stop and get the kids. So I pull the gate, and whoever comes down the driveway, that's who I get. I'm not privy to any information. I don't know who I'm going to get.
Okay, so how do you co-parent?
We don't co-parent. There's no co-parenting. I parent, she parents. At one point in time, I would love to co-parent, but I don't. At this point in time, I don't see it happening.
You all
now
don't
the
talk.
kids are stuck in the middle between us.
You all don't talk?
We don't talk, no.
At all?
0. Court. We're talking court.
Throughout the years of 2016 to 2018, Jon and Kate would once again embark on a very nasty custody battle. They would bring the situation to the public as they discussed some of their children's behavior, medical, and academic issues. Jon would go on the record and state that he hadn't heard from or seen one of their 8 children for over a year and a half, and accused Kate of not being forthcoming with where that child was.
How does this affect the relationship with the kids? What have you noticed? I mean,
I haven't seen my son in a year and a half. I don't know why. I can't talk to him.
Are you given a reason?
Nothing. 0. So it's like stopgaps. You know, it's very frustrating.
Okay,
I'm more frustrated than angry.
Okay.
We are both court ordered not to speak about the care and custody of our children in detail. I've known all along where he is, but the world doesn't know, and I'll leave it at that.
Jon's in that world. Jon says he's going to court to get a judge to force you to reveal whereabouts. Are you prepared to take him on legally?
I've lost track of how many times he's said that. I'm really focused less on what Jon has to say.
Eventually, Jon would get custody of that child and one more. His relationship with the remaining 6, however, would remain estranged. In 2018, a judge ruled in Jon's favor that would prohibit filming the minor children. The court found that it was not in the best interest of their minor children to be filmed in any capacity. But in 2019, Kate would challenge that order when she allowed 4 of their minor children to film her new show, Kate Plus Date. This infuriated Jon. He said, quote, "I'm furious, absolutely furious. The network didn't care. It's really upsetting that big businesses and big corporations go do whatever they want against a parent's legal right. The judge and the guardian ad litem agreed that it wasn't in my children's best interest to be filmed, but my ex-wife and TLC had other ideas. They put profits and ratings ahead of the well-being of my children and filmed illegally without permits. I do know what Kate is capable of, whether it's mental or physical abuse. I have 2 kids in my house who left a whole bunch of money behind. They left fame and money and came to my house. They left it all behind. They have all said that they have to film because they feel they need to provide a lifestyle for their mother. They don't want to film. That's heartbreaking. Why do my kids need to provide for themselves? They're kids." Kate would be found in contempt of court after violating court orders. Jon said, "Kate was supposed to give me a filming schedule for my approval, but she was also supposed to file a work permit and she failed to do both things. The court agreed with me. They have given me my rights back. This order now puts her on notice that she has to do everything by the book. She can still film Kate Plus 8 or Kate Plus Date or whatever she wants, but she has to go to court to get a court order to get my written consent first." Jon was now fighting back legally after a years-long battle with Kate. He was described in the past as being passive and not speaking up for his children or himself, but that was about to change. That same year, 2019, TLC's 10-year gag order would be lifted, and Jon would divulge a lot of information regarding what occurred between him and Kate 10 years ago. He would also give some insight into the toxicity, unfairness, and tactics TLC used to silence him. Here are some key moments from Jon's interview with Dr. Oz. Take a look.
So a lot of folks who've watched your story carefully, and that's a good part of the U.S. population, see you as the villain. That's how it's come across.
I was portrayed as the villain because Kate asked for the divorce, and they needed a reason, or the network needed a reason to explain to the public what was going on. So she asked for the divorce in 2009. I left the show. There was 9 months hiatus. And then we were already divorced. And then the paparazzi started taking pictures of me dating other women and all this stuff. But on TV, it was shown as me being married. So the public was being fooled because on television, I'm married. But in reality, I'm already divorced.
I'm interested in some of the conflicts that happened because of the show. I understand its success, but were there blurred lines? Was it sometimes hard to tell where the family ended and the show began?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember one time, February 2008, we filmed every single day except for 2. There got to points where I was pushing camera crew out of our house. And then the network would come down and say, "You have to film." And I would say, "No, I don't." So I was always the heavy, and then Kate would be like, "You're going to get us fired." And I'm like, "I don't care if we get fired. Like, this is ridiculous. This is not my job. This is not my career. This is my life. Like, I don't need cameras in my house all the time." And, it was getting very commercialized, where we said, for instance, I want to use Pampers, but we want you to use Huggies because of advertising, and all those kind of things. And I'm like, well, I want to use what's best for my kid, not what's best for the network. So little things started to play an effect and commercialize and branding and marketing and all these things, which also started driving wedges in our marriage because she was like, "No, we have to do what they say." And I'm like, "No, I'm doing what's best for our kid." You start to live 2 different lives then,
And you mentioned earlier, repeated it now, that there was a personality issue. What is the personality issue? Whose is it? Is it you? Is it Kate? What's the problem?
Well, I think it's both of us, but I think she has a narcissistic personality disorder.
Narcissistic?
Yep. I think she tends to think more on her level, selfishly instead of for others. I think I tend to think sometimes more for others than for myself. So I tend to not worry what's going on with me when I should sometimes. But I also think that I tend to look more towards my kids and what's the best for them once I had them. But I also feel I'm passive aggressive, which I got from my father. So I only learned all this stuff. I went through tons of therapy. I still go to a therapist. She wanted a divorce. She asked me, she didn't want to be married anymore.
Why?
Because I didn't want to film anymore. I wasn't part of the business model anymore.
She was going to divorce you because of the filming?
That's correct.
Not because of your passive aggression or not helping with the kids or...
No, I stayed home. She was on speaking tours. So she was traveling with her bodyguard. She was going on speaking tours. I was home with the nanny and watching the kids and doing all the kid stuff.
Did she think you were having an affair?
Not with the nanny at that point. We had the same nanny for 3 years. She thought I was having an affair after, like, during separation in 2009. Which I wasn't, no.
You were not having an affair?
No.
Until you got divorced, did you have an affair with anyone?
No.
Right.
Nope.
She approaches you. She wants a separation. What did you say?
I was like, it was out of the blue too, because I was sitting at the dining room table, and I was just like, what are you talking about? She's like, I'm done. I don't want this anymore. You know, you don't want to film. You don't want to go along with my plan and filming and the kids and this and the house. And I'm like, nope, I don't. And you know what's funny? The network thought I was nuts. They actually hired me a therapist and a psychiatrist, and they psychovalved me.
Why did they think you were nuts?
Because I would give up millions of dollars not to film and just go live a normal life. I said enough was enough. And then I didn't understand why they kept on doing this. And then I found out we made them $186 million a quarter. When you're making, you know, $186 million a quarter for a company, you can't just go quit. So the CEO's got to explain to their shareholders, the president, why the shares dropped. Because I took the show off the air. I literally hung a sign on my gate saying, if any crew members show up, I'll have you arrested for trespassing. They sued me for breach of contract. I pretty much bankrupted myself, but I did it for moral reasons, obviously. I've spent $1.7 million in lawyers' fees from when TLC sued me and my divorce. Kate, on the other hand, TLC paid for her attorneys in the lawsuit and for her divorce. So I financed it by myself, and she was financed by the network. And I didn't understand at first why, but now I understand why. All she wanted was legal custody to film my kids, to sustain her lifestyle and their lifestyle. See, it gets all warped. That's fame, though. See, it just twists things around.
So where are Jon and Kate Gosselin now? Well, Kate sold her $1 million home in Pennsylvania and now lives in North Carolina. She resumed her career as a nurse and recently falsely accused Jon of owing child support. Jon works as an IT director at a nonprofit healthcare facility and DJs on the side. After Kate admitted in 2019 during their legal battle that she had borrowed earnings from the kids' trust fund to cover living expenses, Jon recently alleged that she has yet to pay them back. Every now and then, Jon and Kate will resurface and publicly hash out their issues. But for the most part, the Gosselin kids live private, quiet lives, as they should. Jon and Kate signed on to do reality TV as a way to get themselves out of a financial rut. But the way out brought a lot of chaos, pain, and drama. There's always a price to pay when it comes to fame. So I wonder, was it worth it?
How did the fame make it worse?
Fame's different only because fame, things are given to you. You're held to a higher standard. You're put on a pedestal, the attention, and you know, once you have that and that lifestyle, you can see certain tendencies in people. It feeds and feeds and feeds.
So when people ask you, are you exploiting the children, allowing these cameras to come in and be present, are you compromising your children in any way by doing that?
Coming from a mom who laid on bed rest from the time I found out I was pregnant, from 7 weeks pregnant till 30 weeks, and absolutely would not put anything in my mouth that would harm them, and fought for every second of their existence, I can tell you that there is nothing that would ever force me to put them in harm's way.